In the meantime, what we have seen was what we talked about last week, what we've been expecting for a while, and that is a pullback of the 10-year Treasury yield. You can see that this happened beginning of last week. There was some follow through, and you can see, look where we are. That is a reversal. Now, and it's a reversal because not only did you have kind of a topping pattern with a reversal candle, but you broke through the Bollinger, just kind of broke through the daily mid on the daily, heading towards the lower Bollinger Band. You're not oversold yet, plenty of room. And when you look at the weekly chart, you've just really begun to turn. Now, can it come down to the weekly 50 here? Can it come down here and then start working its way back up? Well, it could, but it would need a reason to. So, in my opinion, the yields, along with the dollar as well, but the yields move on good news and bad news, and you can tell which is which. And an easy way to tell, can someone maybe tell me that's been around here a little while? What's an easy way to tell if it's kind of a good news or bad news scenario with the movement of the yields? Like, why, Michael, are you saying that this is kind of good news? Why isn't that considered bad news? Now, initially it might have been, but the follow through, in my opinion, well, no, see now, Amaya, what you're referring to is the technical price action. That initially it was up and then got sold off day by day. That's more of a technical analysis of it. I'm looking for what other clues can you get in the market that this is sort of good news that the yields are dropping. Like when yields pop like crazy and go through the roof, that's typically bad news. But if they reverse violently, that can be for bad news too. Yeah, so Killfly and Dorothy both nail it right on the head. So let's look at the VIX first. In other words, if investors were concerned, listen close here. If investors were concerned that the market, whether it's reinflation or recession, which is really what kind of that bond yield has kind of like a measurement effect of, then you would see the VIX rising violently. If the 10-year Treasury yield or if any of the yields were dropping for bad reasons, like on bad news. Same with the dollar. The dollar was pulling back, which it is. It's down 1% today. The dollar being down 1% and the yields being down almost 1%. If that was like, uh-oh, yields are dropping, uh-oh, there goes the dollar. If it was an uh-oh scenario, you would see investors panic and they would be buying out of the money calls on VIX to protect themselves. They would be hedging, understand? But look at the low here of the VIX. There is zero concern at the moment. We haven't seen the VIX this low really since probably there. I guess I could just go to right here. The day after Christmas was the last time we saw the VIX down here in the low 15s. Now, and it's not oversold yet either. So it has some room to go before it might think about bouncing. It does have a level here, which I wrote a long time ago, and it's still here. 1423, right there. Look at that. Bang, right on it. I think if you get to 1423 and you cruise through it without too much movement, I think that the markets will continue to rally. If you pull back to here tomorrow or the next day and then you get a bounce, and then you get a reversal in yields, and then the dollar starts to move back up, well, that means there was some piece of data that came in that is going to have an effect on what Powell does a week from tomorrow. Maybe if that data comes in hot, like the economy is not cooling down, inflation is still on the rise, Trump's policies will trigger a recession, whatever it is. Then you're going to see yields rise for the bad reasons, the dollar rise for bad reasons, and the VIX then will start getting some action. And that's once the VIX starts to go higher, that's when you're going to see Apple, Nvidia, Tesla, well, maybe not so much Tesla, but Apple, Nvidia, Microsoft, the big companies will start to roll over. As the VIX rises, the big caps will drop. Yeah, so it'll be interesting, Toro, to see what happens with the Bank of Japan. We'll see if they actually do raise rates or not. I guess what we have to do is see what happens with the dollar. It would have to be extremely an extreme move, sorry, an extreme move in the yen to trigger the carry trade again. So you can see the VIX kind of just, quiet, pulling back, gap down, but holding. So this is something too. So the VIX gap down this morning and kind of sitting there, isn't it? It's not doing this. Oops, that's the 10-year, sorry. Oh, I guess it is doing that, huh? So I'll get back to that chart in a second. Yeah, VIX hourly, kind of working its way down to the hourly. Now, the hourly VIX is starting to get a little oversold, so it's possible you might get a little bounce tomorrow. Maybe. And then a little pullback in Nvidia and Apple. We'll see. We'll see. Let me just take a run here at the Russell, because that's what was mentioned. Killfly mentioned IWM. So does IWM like the 10-year dropping? Because that would be proof that this is for good reasons. And sure enough, there you have it. Right? So that's the hourly chart of the Russell moving higher. So for now, the markets are positive, right? Banks are super happy because of some banking regulations that might get loosened up. Nvidia was up higher. It's a little off the highs now. Apple was up higher, but then reversed.
Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video from Trade With Me Now. Make sure to go ahead and like this video and subscribe to our channel so you make sure that you catch our next video right when it's released. Also, if you have a question or comment, please leave that in the comments section below. And of course, if you want to learn more about Trade With Me Now or join our community of profitable traders, go to tradewithmenow.com. There's also a link in the description below. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you at the next video.